Hello, guys. Welcome for joining our fourth sessions of the Tuning Live Talk series. This is the coolest exchange destinations, and this is Eric Mann, the officer from the international office. So today, I'm sure that many of you have been considering what kind of exchange destinations could be your place, and you could spend a semester or at least one academic year there. So I'm sure that you must have considered a number of options, including like the UK, US, Canada, or perhaps like Germany, Japan, Korea, and many other different places. But I'm sure that there must be somewhere that you must have not considered before, especially some very coolest options, some very extraordinary choices that are very fascinating, very rich in culture, history, as well as it will be a kind of adventures you have never considered. But I would like to tell you that we indeed have these kind of partners over there. And we also have the privilege today to have invited some of our international students from the HKBU. They would be very happy to share with you the kind of experience or particularly like the culture with you. What would it be like? What would it like if you're going exchange to, like, let's say India, Malaysia, Kazakhstan, or even Turkey, something like that. So please join me to welcome our students. Hi, this is Emo. This is Main Jane, and I see she's from on a driving seat, right? Okay. Good to see you all. So I was just talking about, yes, when we are talking about going for exchange, there must be a number of options that many of the students from HKBU have been considering, including like the UK, US, Canada, somewhere like that, or like Germany. But indeed, there are some very extraordinary choices, some adventures that students from HKBU could take advantages of our partnership and go for that to have some very unique experience. I'm sure that many of the students must have joined our last talk, which is to seize the moment to craft a very different future. And one of the students exactly went to Turkey, and by her exchange, she eventually had formulated her family in Turkey. So, but anyways, let me introduce everyone of you. Okay, so let's start from Amo. Hi, Amo.
Hi.
Hi, could you please give us a very short introduction of yourself? Where do you come from?
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you. First of all, thank you, Eric. So yeah, I'm from India. Currently, I'm in year 3 of computer science in Hong Kong Baptist University. When you told me like to share about my country, it was like a privilege to me. As you said that about the extraordinary choices. So if we only talk about like for me itself, I look for the ranking of the university before going. So maybe for other students also, it might be one of the criteria to look forward to. So for that, if we focus on that, there are two universities that are partnered with HKBU, as far as I remember, IIT Mumbai and IIT Kanpur, and both of them are in top 100 universities in the world. So of course they are extraordinary choices. Apart from that, let's talk about India.
Emma,
of course,
we could talk about that in details. I just want to introduce everyone first, okay?
Oh, okay.
Good. So you're Emo, and then we also have one very special guest who is right now in Turkey, and Mehmet. Hi.
Hi, my name is Mehmet, and I'm third year entrepreneurship student in HKBU. And I'm really honored to be here, guys, and to present you the history and some like interesting parts about my country. So looking forward to explain to you everything in more details.
Okay. We also have the representative from Malaysia, which is Ming Jane, and she's on a driving seat right now. Hi, Ming Jane.
Hello, I'm Mi Jing. I'm I'm from Malaysia, obviously. I'm now in Malaysia. I'm in a car because it's too hot in the restaurant. So, yeah, Malaysia is a very hot country, so be prepared when you come. Yeah, and
Mm.
I'm a biotech final year student. Nice to meet you guys.
Okay, good. And finally, we also have Gasa. Hi, Gasa. How are you? Sorry, we
We can
can't hear you.
Hi, sorry. Hi
Yeah,
guys, my
lovely.
name is Gasa. I'm from Kazakhstan, year 4 computer science student. Thank you very much for inviting me here to talk a little bit about my home country, Kazakhstan, city of Almaty, which is where precisely our partner university QMAP is located. Yeah, thank you very much for
Okay.
inviting me here.
Okay. So today we have 4 different kind of representatives from 4 very unique and extraordinary countries, which is India, Turkey, Malaysia, as well as Kazakhstan. So I'm sure that many of the students, when they are considering going for exchange in these kind of countries, there must be some stereotype that construct their ideas about what do you think. I mean, in your views, do you think that there are some kind of stereotype among the students from Hong Kong or your friends from Hong Kong? They think, okay, Kazakhstan must be very cool. What do you think the stereotype the friends of yours will have about your home country?
So, if we talk about Kazakhstan, actually, one of my pain points is that not many people have stereotypes about my country because they actually don't know anything about my country.
Have no ideas about that,
Yeah.
right?
So the biggest stereotype is that no one has any stereotypes about my country. And when they hear the stan, they may associate it with, for example, Pakistan, and it can be misleading because our cultures are kind of different from, for example, Pakistani Indian culture, because they are rich by themselves, and our culture is kind of different from that. So not many people know about my country, and I think it's the shame because our country is kind of, it's a good destination to have to travel. And I know a lot of local people from Hong Kong who visited my country, and in fact, I met a girl 4 weeks ago when I traveled my hometown.
Oh,
To
you
the
met a
nature.
girl.
I met a girl from Hong Kong. She was local and she was HKU graduate. And yeah, so I think local people really like our country in that sense. And I welcome everyone to explore because I think it's really different from everything you might know about other countries.
But in your view, there's no any kind of stereotype about Kazakhstan. But from my own perspective as a Hong Konger, now I think the belt and roll is something that very popular kind of image of Kazakhstan, right? And I see that Matt also have something to share, right?
Yeah, I think, no, I'm telling like a stereotype about Kazakhstan. Like, I think all of you guys only eat horse meat. Is it true?
Yeah.
Sorry? Eat horse. Yeah.
That, our country got famous for famous for eating horse meat, and every time I meet local people, they will ask me about horse meat, and they want me to bring some horse meat in case I will visit my home country and will be back. So yeah, that's one good stereotype about my country.
Yeah,
and
Kazakhstan.
We eat horse meat, and it's actually pretty tasty.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, yeah. So how about Ming Jane? What do you think that the greatest stereotype the student from Hong Kong, the people from Hong Kong, friends from Hong Kong would have about Malaysia?
Yeah, I think the greatest stereotype is that people thought that Malaysia, like, people is all Malay and we only speak Malay, which is kind of, yeah, the greatest stereotypes that I encountered. Like, when I have a friend, a local friend, when I asked her to visit Malaysia, she was like, "Oh, but is the language a problem? Because I can't speak Malay and my English is not that good." I was like, "No, you can speak Chinese and you can speak Cantonese." So I think that's the only stereotype.
Yeah, especially Cantonese. Yeah.
And
I don't
like,
think that many of the people in Hong Kong would know that Malaysia is also one of the former British colony. Do you think so?
I'm not sure about that. I've never asked that question before. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just the fact that most people associate Malaysia with a unique culture, like unique ethnicity. There's only one
Mm-hmm.
ethnicity, but in fact, we are
Mm.
very much like USA, where we have a lot of cultures and a lot of
Mm.
different people. So yeah.
Mm. A kind of very narrow mind about your place, yeah, and especially for Hong Kong people. Yes, Malaysia has been a kind of it was somewhere that Hong Kong people have been very familiar, but it is all very often to think comparing with Singapore as well. So sometimes for many students in Hong Kong, particularly the student perhaps HKBU students, we have not many ideas about Malaysia, but actually it was also one of the former British colony obtained it in 18th century. So perhaps you could share with us more later on. So how
Yeah.
about Mehmet? Turkey, you are Kazakhstan, but why? Can you share with us why you are also representative of Turkey?
Yeah, because ethnically I'm Turkish, but I was born and raised in Pakistan. So I'm close to both cultures. And what stereotype I think students might have about Turkey is that I just do, but I'm not sure. But it's same to Malaysia. I think they might assume that it's only about like there are only people who can speak Turkish, only Turkish people that follow one culture, but it's completely different. There are many people of different cultures that have different traditions, and it's actually like a mixture of both European and Asian cultures. So when you go through the streets, you can like clearly understand that it's something that not just belongs to one folk, but many others. So that's because like people might assume like, oh, it will be hard for me to socialize with others because they're so close-minded and they're only talking their own language, but it's actually not true. There are like many people of different nationalities, and like from Russia and from America, I'm sure, like in other like USSR countries as well. So I think it's quite really mixed. And
Yeah,
there's a
so
lot of
basically, language is one of the kind of stereotype that many of the students in Hong Kong will have. Yeah, so they expect that when they travel to those countries, study in those countries, or they can't hear, they can't listen, they can't speak or communicate with anyone there. But yes, I agree that this is absolutely wrong. Yeah. So there are a number of stereotypes that exist among the people in Hong Kong, perhaps students in Hong Kong. So I'm sure that there must be some of your friends have asked you about if I really want to go to your home country and I want to study there. And perhaps now it is available now. Students could go for exchange in those countries, in Turkey, in Kazakhstan, in Malaysia, as well as in India. So yeah. So how about what is the greatest? What do you think, Emma? What is the greatest stereotype that you think that exists among the people in Hong Kong?
So I would say like it really depends. Like I was once talking to a friend of mine in Hong Kong who is a local, and she told me that that she thinks that India might not be very safe for her. So okay, it might be the whitewashed media news that has shaped her opinion about India, but like it really depends. Like I would say that it really depends from people to people. It really depends from society to society. And if you are in one of the big cities in India, then of course you are really safe. Like for example, I'm currently living in New Delhi, so Delhi is safe. Mumbai is safe, of course. And then there are some smaller cities and smaller towns where like people are not very educated. There is kind of like illiteracy, but again, like you really have to think like if you come to India for exchange, then where what are the places that you have to visit, what are the things that you have to see, and if you follow that particular pattern, then of course it's going to be like one of the best options that you can choose. Apart from that, I would say that they also think, some of them think that there might be some rural environment when they are in this country, but this again is a stereotype because India is one of the fastest, like not one of the fastest, it's the fastest growing economy in the world, and Mumbai is one of the biggest metropolitan in the universe. So yeah. So yeah, so these are the stereotypes I would say
Yeah.
about
So
India.
basically, many of the kind of stereotypes have been existing among the people or students in Hong Kong, especially when they read about the medias, newspapers, or perhaps some so-called fun fact from the media or from the internet. So they somehow constructed a kind of image of perhaps some kind of bad image of the countries that they have never been there. So I think this is a very good opportunity to share with us that when students are actually thinking to go for exchange in those countries, what would be the greatest challenge in your views, and what would be the recommendation from you, yeah, as a friend of theirs? So, um, Emma, what do you think? I mean, what is the greatest challenge for the people in Hong Kong when they actually go for exchange, perhaps, or study there, and what would be your recommendation?
Yeah, I would say like of course like culture shock is something that you have to cope up. And when you are talking about India, it has a vibrant culture.
Mm-hmm.
Even in India, you can feel culture shock at different places. Like for example, if I go to South India, I might feel culturally shocked. So of course like this is one of the things that you have to cope up. Then but again, this is the charm of being an international student. Like for example, I'll share a small incident when I went to Hong Kong for the first time. I did not know that I had to eat in bowl and I had to keep the waste in plate because we do it otherwise in India. So that was like kind of like a small shock for me. But again, like I learned from it. So it really depends how a student can cope up with those problems. You know. Apart from that, I would say language can be a problem, but if the person who is here is outgoing, then we Indians are really friendly, and then we can help the person who is there. Uh, so yeah, these are the small problems, but they are the problem of an international student, that I might say, that is going to happen in any part of the world, not necessarily just India. And Yeah, so these are the thing. And if you talk about recommending, as you said, Eric, so I would recommend anyone to be an exchange student of India in a heartbeat, because there are a lot of things that I can mention and a lot of things that cannot end if I talk about it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so it's really, I think, yeah, I agree. It really depends on how students they could step out of their comfort zones when they see new things. Of course, when they go for exchange, of course, they are expecting and they are supposed to expect seeing new things other than something that they are very familiar. They have been using the same kind of system or having very familiar in their lifetime. So of course they should expect to see something new other than something very typical or very familiar. So how about Ning Jane? Yeah. So when student, I'm sure that there must be some of your friends have asked about, oh, I want to go to Malaysia, perhaps for study, perhaps for exchange, or for traveling. So, what kind of the challenges you expect what will be the greatest challenges for them in your imagination? What would be your recommendations?
Yeah, the greatest challenge definitely the transportation, because our public transportation is not as convenient as Hong Kong. So even like for me, when I returned from Hong Kong, it's like coming back here. If you don't have a car, it's gonna be very troublesome to travel to places.
But
And
I
even if
remember
you,
Grab is very popular in Malaysia, right?
yes, Grab is very popular. But then if you are gonna exchange here for one semester and you
Mm.
need to Grab every single day from
Yeah.
places to places, it's really not gonna be that economic, I guess. Yeah. So and don't even expect that you can walk, because there's not a lot of roads that are made for pedestrians.
Oh,
So
really?
so like for example in Hong Kong, if you want to cross a road, there's always a few like zebra road, like what do you call it, the zebra lines and the
Mm-hmm.
天桥, I don't know what do you call it.
Mm.
Yeah, that thing.
Malo,
A
yeah.
few, a few hundred steps maybe like in
Mm.
between. But then in Malaysia, you might have to walk like 3 or 4 streets in order to find something like that to cross the road.
Mm. So
So
this is
yeah.
exactly something very unfamiliar to the students in Hong Kong because Hong Kong is a very small city state very convenient, especially
Yes.
for the transportations. But when they go for exchange, even though in KL, right, is this the case?
Yeah, you can't really reach everywhere, but in KL it's easier to walk. It's easier to
Mm.
walk, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the
Uh,
greatest challenges.
yeah, and my recommendation is really just to make more friends. Even if it's
Mm.
the friend from Hong Kong, at least you can share Grab or just meet
Yeah,
someone in
share Grab.
Malaysia
Yeah.
who has a
Mm.
car, because like here most of us have car. We got a license at 17, like most of us. So if you have a friend, they will probably be willing to give you a drive. Yeah.
Mm. So the greatest challenge will be the transportations in Malaysia, and other than that, there will be no other challenges.
Not really. Like for me, I didn't really experience big cultural shock
Yes,
when I
absolutely. Because yeah,
yeah
it was also a former British colony, and basically English is very
yeah
popular
yeah
there. Yeah,
yeah
and
and
even though you
even
see the street sign, like the
yes
silver line
yes
you mentioned before, it is exactly the British system.
yeah. I was
Yeah,
gonna I was gonna mention that, like it's really very similar.
yeah, very similar. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I have been in Malaysia 2 or 3 times, and I find this countries is very familiar with what I have experienced in the UK or even in Hong Kong as well. So basically, I can't find any problem living,
Yes.
I think, or even though going for exchange or study there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would strongly recommend Malaysia to be somewhere that students could actually consider. So
Yeah.
how about Turkey, Mehmet?
So Turkey, yeah.
Yeah, what would be the greatest challenges for the people or students from Hong Kong or the students from HKBU?
Okay, let me start talking about the cultural shock that students might have. So
Mm-hmm.
it was the case for me as well, even though I was used to it, but I was again like shocked a little bit again. So there's like a thing that a calling to prayer 5 times a day, and it's like so loud. It goes through the whole city. It's like a song 5 times a day, and
Uh-huh.
you are just in the middle of the road and you are not expecting anything, and suddenly there's some men
Mm.
started singing
Mm.
like to the whole city. And like there are like many mosques
Mm.
in the Istanbul, for example, where like two partner universities are. So
Mm.
and they start singing, they're like calling to prayer like one, and it's actually really might be scaring, but the next
Mm.
you're kind of like how beautiful it is, and it makes you feel like so calming, and you just get used to it. But what else would I say about the challenges? So the challenge is that even though all of the people, they can't speak English because it's like
Mhm.
very touristy country. They actually might put a price to you higher if you're speaking English because like you're a tourist and you might even willing to pay more. But if you're a student, you're always looking for cheaper options. So I would suggest you to have some Turkish friends there so that they would go and negotiate instead of you to get some things for a cheaper price. As well for the transportation, like if you're taking a taxi, if you don't speak Turkish, they might like go in circles because you have to pay for the
Mm.
to go.
Oh no.
Oh, it seems like there are some kind of technical problem exists for Mehmet.
Yeah,
So
it's not
perhaps we
working.
could also invite Gaza. So you are the representative from Kazakhstan. So
Yes.
as you said, not many of the students will have any kind of expectation, or even though they have no
And
ideas about the countries of yours.
paying like a lot
Oh, Mohammed is
of
still speaking.
Oh, I'm
money.
so
Let-
sorry.
Let's wait for him to finish.
So it's
That's okay. I think it's a poor connection.
like
I think he probably stopped, but just a delayed signal. So
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, let's continue. So Gaza, so you are the representative from Kazakhstan, and
So
as you said,
make some
not many of the students would have any kind of
uh,
expectations or any kind of imaginations. They have You said that this is the most greatest challenges
Yeah,
is that they have no ideas about Kazakhstan. So
yeah.
what do you think the greatest challenges for students who are really planning to go for exchange in Kazakhstan? How your recommendation could help?
I think one of the greatest challenges will be that that there is a language barrier. Of course, in Kazakhstan, there are lots of young people who can speak English, but science and all the other things that can give you a hint of what's going on in the city area are in Russian or in Kazakh. So unless you know these two languages, you can have a hard time navigating. However, the thing is that there are lots of young people who know English. So if you have any trouble and if you get lost or something like that, you can just approach randomly any young person and they will help you out, and they'll be willing to help you out, of course. And another recommendation is that we have, for example, Uber or other map technologies. So it won't be really hard to navigate if you have a phone and a cell signal. And yeah, that's probably
How
it.
about the weather?
Oh, the weather. Weather will be challenging in winter because we have like minus 30 degrees
Minus 30 degree?
in winter, so it can be
Oh.
a little challenging. But if you have a good coat and heating, then everything should be fine regarding that.
Okay. Okay, so basically, it is not very big challenges because when students they could have something I think this is very important because when students go for exchange, it's just not only for people who are planning to go for some new or extraordinary choices like India, Malaysia, Kazakhstan, or even when they students go for exchange in Germany or like in the UK, in the US, they also need to get prepared mentally. I mean, so they need to be open-minded. Of course, they need to because they need to step out of their comfort zone. It is very important because you are planning and you exchange is exactly giving you the kind of opportunity to explore the new world, something that you have never experienced in your lifetime. And also make friends. Yeah, be an open-minded person and try to be try to communicate with the people you met there. So any kind of challenge would not be a huge challenge. Let's say the transportation in Malaysia, when you have friends, of course they could give you some recommendation. Or even in Kazakhstan, if you have friends, you could make some friends from the unit that you study there. So you can also find a way to not only survive, but you enjoy your exchange there. So, and India as well, I remember that when I talked to Anmo, you shared with me that there are a lot of recommendation for students if they are planning to go for exchange in India because the transportation is relatively very cheap and reasonable, right? And they could travel to the northern India, even the eastern India at a very low cost to have some kind of adventures, right? So I think, yeah, these are the beauty of the exchange programming, especially when students go for somewhere they are not very familiar, and this is exactly the chance they could step out of their comfort zone to discover their uniqueness by doing the exchange program. Yes. So any fun fact? I mean, any something special that you want to share with us from your home country? Kasa, any fun fact from your experience about Kazakhstan?
Maybe I can start with. I want to start with the fact that the biggest ice range, so the place that you can ice skate, the biggest open ice skating range in the world is located in my city, Almaty. So it's located inside the mountain, so it's a place surrounded by mountains where in wintertime you can skate. And also we have the second. I mean, they say that we have the second largest canyon in the world after Grand Canyon near my city, and so these are the things like natural places that are located very near to my city, very near to Kimep University. So for those people who are planning to come to Almaty of Kazakhstan, they will not get short of nature. They will have so many beautiful places and sceneries to enjoy. So I think anyone who likes nature, hiking, would be very pleased to know that like these record-breaking places exist in near my city. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Almaty is a very good city, and also we have partners in Kazakhstan, which is Kimmet University, which is I would say, a very modern university with a
Yeah.
kind of American style as well as a Central Asian style university. I would recommend anyone who are interested in Kazakhstan, or even though have been considering the options to go for exchange in Kazakhstan, they could definitely to go to Google or to go to YouTube to type Kimmet University, or go to our website to have a look at the fact sheet, have a look at the website of the university. They will
Yeah.
find it it's just a very convenient.
It is located in
very
a
modern.
old center of the city, so you can enjoy feel the whole history of how the city came to be what it is today. And they also have lots of foreign teachers and Korean students, as far as I know, and people are really eager to make friends, make international friends. So I believe that in case of they see that you want to become friends with them, with local people there, they will be glad to help you out, to invite you to parties and other activities. So I think they will be really enjoyable.
Yeah. So how about Emo? So India. So what would be the any fun fact or any recommendation, like the university or anything?
Fun fact, like as Gasa told about the geographical regions about his country. So similarly, if I talk of India, apart from the rich heritage and the culture that we have, our geographical variations are dynamic. For example, if I want to go to Himalayas, I can go to the Himalayas where the temperature might be minus 10 degrees, not as cold as Kazakhstan, of course. And then I can go to islands, and then I can go to desert. I can go to the tropical region. I can go to the plateaus. So of course, like in one country, there is this whole kind of like package that you get if you want to really travel, and if you are a nature lover, or if you are a culture or heritage lover. Apart from that, the thing that makes it like cherry on the top of the cake is that it's really cheap. If you want to travel from one part of India to the other part, it will just cost you around like $400 Hong Kong dollars. 400 Hong Kong dollars. So it's really cheap. So you take a flight for 3 hours in $400, and that too round trip. I'm talking about round trip. So of course, like it's cheap, it's dynamic, culturally and geographically. So
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And also, we also have two partners located in India, which is one of them, IIT Bombay, which is a very good tech university, and also they train a lot of scientists as well. So I would strongly recommend students, particularly for those who are, I'm sure that there must be someone who are very eager to explore the world in a very different way, other than taking a flight to and land at Heathrow and then take a taxi. But perhaps negotiating the price in Mumbai with a local taxi driver would be a very extraordinary experience, isn't it? Yeah.
Actually, and apart from that, we also, like as Gasa said, we also have Uber and Ola cabs where you can just like book it there, and then you can get the minimum price. So it's always beneficial for a student, international student. This is a recommendation that whenever you travel in India, always try to focus on digital means rather than bargain means, because bargain means you are going to get looted for sure.
Yeah.
If you are, if you are focusing on digital means, then you are in safe hands.
Safe.
Yeah, okay, right. I see your point.
Same recommendation for Kazakhstan too.
Yeah. So how about Ming Jane? Yeah, Malaysia, a very familiar place to many people in Hong Kong, I guess. So any fun fact or any recommendations of the school?
If you say it's familiar, then I would have to be very, very like. I hope what I say is a fun fact. So if you come to Malaysia, obviously you're gonna experience all the cultural diversity here. Especially if you go to Penang, because in KL it might be a little bit more rare. But if you're in Penang, which is USM, where USM is located,
Yeah.
the partner university, you'll be able to see like temples and mosques and Indian temples all together, like maybe a few steps away. So I think that's very unusual case in many countries, and even the architectures are really beautiful. So it's kept from from our ancestor, so it's inherited down, and those are like skills that is also quite fascinating. I think like the sculptures and stuff, and the Indian temples are also. There's a temple that is located inside a cave. The Indian temple
Inside a
is
cave.
located inside a
Oh.
cave. Yeah, inside a cave. It's a natural cave, and then there is like I think 1,000 staircase or something like that. I think it's more than 1,000. And every festival, I think it's Thaipusam, the Indians will go there and they will walk up the steps. It's a ritual for them. So if you come to Malaysia, you'll be also able to experience all these different festivals and rituals. Deepavali, Thaipusam. So you don't have to go to like multiple places just to
Yeah.
get that taste. Yeah. And a fun fact is, for Malays, they have open house during Hari Raya. So it's kind of like a New Year where they invite people into their house. So if you get to know a Malay friend, but it's around July, I think, July, August, Hari Raya. So if you happen to be in Malaysia by that time, then you might be able to like go to their house and experience that entire vibe. Yeah, so it's very fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then about the university. So USM is very near to where I used to live. And USM is QS ranking 4 in Malaysia, so it's the top 4 university. During top 10, QS ranking is 142. So it's really not that, like it's really good, I think. And then the other university is located in KL, Kuala Lumpur, so it's the capital. And is actually QS ranking first, so it's the top 1 university in Malaysia. So we wanted to go to that university. Most people would like to go, and the QS ranking in the world is actually 59. So I think that's really really high.
Yeah.
At least in my own opinion, it's really pretty good. And there's a lot of courses offered in so it would be a great place to have your exchange.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, and that's it.
It's coming. Okay, I can see one questions from Charlie. So she asked that anything that make you proud of your home country. Anyone would like to answer this one?
Maybe I can start.
Okay, Kasa?
Okay. So the thing that makes me most proud of my country is our independence, and probably most of maybe Anmol would agree, I don't know. But till 1991, we were a colony of Russia. Soviet Union. We were the part of the Soviet Union, and for 300 years we considered to be the colony of the Russian Empire. And then after that we get our independence, and right now we are quickly growing. Our economy is doing well, despite some downs, and we have built a new capital, like from a ground up, which is Astana, and it's really cheap to fly there from Almaty, which I really recommend to anyone who's visiting Kazakhstan. So it only takes like 2-hour flight, and which is very cheap, something like 200 HKD to round trip. So our capital is brand new, built from the ground up, and lots of different architecture. So maybe anyone interested in that can have a good time visiting it.
Okay. So we can also see, yes, you're very proud of your country's history. And so I have been in Astana as well, and it was a really great city. You can see how a city was built from the scratch, and it's just a very modernized and very well-developed kind of capital. You can see how the hard work and the effort paid by the people of Kazakhstan, how they build a capital. And Yeah, I really enjoy traveling and even working in Kazakhstan. A few years ago. So I really recommend students to consider going to Kazakhstan for some exchange experience, because Kinmet is also a very good university we have established, and currently we also have some students taking some kind of virtual course at the Kinmet University as well. So I can see also another question from PY. So she would like to know that what kind of things that people in Hong Kong from HKBU have to pay attention not to do in your country, and because she is very afraid that she will offend the people accidentally. So any recommendations? Yeah, we will keep it short. Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah, this
Ammo?
this is one of the most fascinating question that I have got so far. So yeah, so when anyone asks me about India, and if what are the things that you like that people might get offended in, this is a really tough point for me. And I would like to say at this point that if you come to India, then you have to really get relaxed, because there is nothing in this world that can offend us. Like literally. And I'm not joking. There's nothing in this world that can offend us, unless and until you start like fighting or like verbal abuses or something. Apart from that, there is nothing that offends us. We are very like cool, outgoing, and friendly. So if you are in India, you do not have to worry about this particular thing for sure.
I'm sure that students, I mean, people, they have to live in India for a while, and then they could feel how, I mean, nothing could offend the Indians, right?
Actually, that's right. That's right,
Yeah.
Eric. My ex-roommate was German in HKBU. He was on exchange. He came to India. He visited my place, my home, and before going, he said that his perspective of a third world country, of how India could be, literally changed, because it was not how he imagined before coming. And after he went, he still talks about India, and I think he really enjoyed here. So yeah.
Yeah, I can guess so. Yeah, and also I really enjoy talking to you as well. Yeah. So I think that we can go to the last question. So someone who asked about the cost of living in your home country. So is it expensive doing exchange in your home country? What do you think about that? Any
Yeah.
ideas?
Yeah, I'll answer this question first.
Yeah,
So
good.
it's really cheap. For example, if I spend in Mumbai, I'm talking about Mumbai, like, which is the most expensive city in India. If I have to get a room, if I have to eat food, not street food, good food, and then if I have to like travel, including all of them, would cost you around 4,000 Hong Kong dollars. So it's
Oh,
really cheap. It's
yeah.
really, yeah.
How about Kazakhstan, Kasa?
I think compared to Hong Kong, Kazakhstan is like 1.5 or maybe 2 times cheaper in terms of food and transportation. I mean, transportation might be very funny to local people, because our transportation, like taxi, costs as much as it costs to travel like by MTR. So in that sense, it's really convenient. Otherwise, like I said, like flying to Astana is like 200, 300 Hong Kong dollars you can find for round trips, if you can like find a normal deal. And apart from that, living cost is like really cheap compared to Hong Kong. And traveling around, I don't think anyone coming will be able to travel the whole Kazakhstan, of course, but the places you want to travel that are located near the city of Almaty, like this nature, beautiful places, are really close, and it will be. I just recently had a nice trip for the whole day, and it only cost me like 150 HKD to have a whole trip to like the 3 biggest destinations around my city. So I think for anyone who wants to travel, it will be much cheaper than they can even imagine. So that's 1.5, 2 times cheaper, everything.
Yeah. How about Mingjing in Malaysia?
Yeah, if you're in the capital, then it's
Yeah,
about
you are
half the
on the road.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
so if you're in Kuala Lumpur, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive, but it's still half.
Mm,
I think it's about half the living expenses in Hong
mm,
Kong.
mm.
So and if you're in Penang, then I think like one quarter of the living expenses in Hong Kong. Yeah, it's really cheap. You can get a meal for I think as cheap as 6 HKD if you want to. Yeah.
Good. Thank you so much. So, yes, we are very thankful that we have four representatives from four very extraordinary choices countries. Something that some of the countries which is very rich in history, rich in culture, as well as very extraordinary experience students would have when they go for exchange. And we are very thankful that we have all of you to be here. And also, thanks special go to Mehmet because of his
Internet
network
connection,
problem.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
tried hard but couldn't join.
yeah. But anyways, we have heard many good stories, and as well as we have some good ideas about what would be it like when students go for exchange in those countries. Going for exchange is a very life-changing experience, and I guess many of the students would always expect that to go for exchange at least once time in their university time, and has been a very important part of the university experience.
Yes.
So when students go for exchange, I would strongly recommend not only to look at something very common, very familiar. Yeah, when going for the UK or US, this is something very common experience many of the students would probably have. But when you go for something extraordinary choices, perhaps going for India, Malaysia, Kazakhstan, or even Turkey, this kind of experience, I think definitely would give you something more than an exchange program. Yeah, when you see new things, it inspires you to think in new perspective.
Yeah.
When you meet people in somewhere that you are very unfamiliar, you make real friendship. Yeah, those people will be a lifelong friend, and not only because you need their help, but because you learn a lot from them. They give you the opportunity to see things in a very new perspective, and you may also discover something very unique from the life, and perhaps when you have never been experiencing the minus 30 degree in Kazakhstan, perhaps you
Yeah.
don't know that you're really a lover of winter. So why not give it a try? And when you are given the opportunity, so we, the international office, have been very eager to explore many different kind of exchange options for our students, and we strongly recommend you to consider something other than the typical choices. And especially when you are young, when you have the chance, and the options have been available here. So thank you so much for everyone today.
Yeah, thank
We
you
are
for
very
inviting.
happy
Thank
to
you
have
everyone
all
joining.
of you. Yes, absolutely. So uh, I look forward to seeing all of you on campus. Please come back.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, so for any student who are interested in exchange program, or you want to explore more about these kind of options, please feel free to come to us. Feel free to join us to visit our website to take a look at the videos, or even to take a look at the materials we have here. Visit us our office AAB 703, so we could give you more information about that. So thank you so much for everyone, and I look
Yeah.
forward to seeing you next time.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for inviting. Thank
Thank
you everyone
Thank you.
you,
joining.
Thank you,
Reggie.
Eric.
Bye
Thank
bye
you.
Juno. Bye
Bye.
Jameen. Bye Mijin.
Bye, bye,
Yeah,
Justin.
yeah.
Bye,
Meeting.
bye,
Bye. Bye, 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 Bye,
Busy.
Bye.
Mijin.